Good evening and welcome to another edition of Tok Piksa. Rapid urbanization calls for major changes in the way in which urban development is designed and managed. It has the potential of bringing wealth and welfare to large populations, but it also runs the risk of increasing inequalities and the unsustainable use of resources. In the National Capital District, it is said that there is no more available state land, and people are now buying traditional land in and around Port Moresby. This leads to standards being compromised, with some people living in deprived housing conditions, with lack of access to basic services like water, sanitation, waste management, durable housing, and sufficient living area. The scarcity of state land has also brought about major eviction exercises where entire communities have been forcefully removed to make way for development. These communities have been forced out onto the streets with nowhere to go. Tonight we bring to you a video of what the Paga Hill Development Company has done in resettling people instead of evicting them. Using its own funds, it bought traditional land at 6 Mile and resettled an entire community comprising of about 130 families. The company's efforts, captured in this film, earned itself a placement in this year's United Nations Film Festival, mainly for its humanitarian values.
We have to come to terms with what we are faced with, that we have large settlements in our towns and cities. That's in Port Moresby, in Lae, in Mount Hagen, everywhere, in Madang. And so it is not just a marginal issue to think that only one company or somebody can do it in a small way.
From the outset, the vision for Paga Hill was to create an icon that would promote Papua New Guinea as a viable destination for tourists, residents, and investors alike. Paga Hill being such a prominent site within the city with historical aspects to it, we take our role very seriously, and we feel a great sense of responsibility to be a good corporate citizen, restoring the war relics or artifacts that are worth restoring, but totally committed to ensuring that the informal settlers are treated as integral part of the project. We need to make sure we work together to assist them to build a better life.
We have to do something, and not just knee-jerk and short-term and ad hoc approach, but to comprehensively look at the whole issue of urbanization. It's a change and transformation of the society.
I'd say Paga Hill Development Company, they could have just gone ahead and just moved ahead because the court case was clear about the land and a subsequent Supreme Court case was clear about the land. But they chose to stick to their original plans of doing a planned relocation. And it's a very challenging exercise. As far as I know, not done by any other commercial developer, other than resettlement in mine locations, which in themselves have never been really successfully done.
We have the effect of very large and growing squatter settlements. And the cities and towns' prominent feature is unplanned settlements. What we have to do is, as a government, the government has to have a proper strategy in place, because we're going to deal with all of this.
With this whole relocation exercise, it excited me in a way because I was the one who spearheaded the urbanisation policies, and I was so aware that there's big gaps that have never been attended to in the urbanisation policy. There are missing bits, like how we deal with customary land in urban areas. They've never been really thoroughly addressed in the urbanisation policy. And I believe for the future of Papua New Guinea, until we start to address those issues, we're going to have just a continuing problem of settlements, unplanned settlements, sprawling all around the city, because there basically is no government land left for people to be relocated on. They have to be relocated on customary land, and we have to find a way to make it work.
Following the failed eviction today, the settlers held a protest with banners and placards.
A tenant says he was assaulted when trying to protect his wife.
In recent times, the citizens of the city have come under trying times as a result of forceful evictions. Most were enforced by rogue policemen without proper authorization and following proper procedures.
Now a family is without a home and they will have nowhere to sleep tonight.
So what is the strategy? You just tell everybody to go because they came in there illegally, or and then where do they go? Because they will have to find some other place within the city to go and settle again, and then you haven't solved the issue. It's just transferred the issue from one location to another.
Paggy Hill Development Company recognised that resettlement is quite a tricky and complicated process, disrupting people's lives in terms of education, employment, livelihoods, social and emotional well-being, and also resettlement has a lot of environmental impacts as well. And in recognising this, a big part of Paggy Hill development work was to actually look at United Nations guidelines in regards to their experience and expertise in refugee resettlements, as well as people displaced by things like natural disasters. We also developed our own best practice guidelines based on United Nations charters and their principles, but we also looked at more localised processes as well that around resettlement that have been done around the Pacific Islands. So those lessons learned and reflections on those principles and those guidelines is really important to us.
Paggy Hill Development Corporation, because they have people living there, they want to develop the land, they have started what could be a model.
What we are doing now in terms of the relocation of settlers from Paggy Hill may become an important lesson for government and other beneficiaries of state leases on how to move forward.
They've been willing to come forward and say, okay, we will put resources and identify our land and maybe basic infrastructure and basic shelter and ask these people to relocate.
Nemplomi Carol Sul, we want the community leader lo Taroma settlement. Kail come side, the boy come side, all Rausim, all settlers come stop, Nami play stop loan, or Lady Kitu to come side, bring him good plus service come side, the Mipla vaccine, the Mipla Yama Mastrol, community lawyer, Mipla Hama Mastrulo.
So mi mag mouse blo Pagga Nemplomi am sent, mi silib long Pagga Lobanga. Mi pla housing commissioner and mi pla banga line mi pla kam okay mi pla kam staff and mo line lo Taroma mi pla serim kolwara go kam mi pla waswas lo one pla waswas place bus stop lo mi pla one pla now mi pla staff a small family mi pla sit down good sleep good, no got disturbance come up.
Paggy Hill paid a very good sum for land, customary land that already had some people living on it, and so that caused some complications because we're having to bring together many communities, but plenty of space for new people to fit in. Paggy Hill Development Company have had to work very hard and been extremely patient with the original settlers who completely opposed the concepts of trying to get properly marked out blocks and having a planned community there. It's taken several months to really try to get people to understand what's going on, but I believe that's starting to come around now, and proper blocks being marked out, which can be given proper lease title agreements.
When we embarked on the 6 Mile resettlement, we had a vision, a high-level vision, but we did not have all the answers. And we've had to learn as we go. There have been all kinds of barriers and challenges, both legislative and also just lack of trust between the parties that's slowly being rebuilt. And I think we are finally in a place where we can start to really move forward with some assurity.
Yeah, name Lomi, I'm Saina Kerry, na Miss Stablea. Aten sampla plenty years go finish, me play Stablea time. Place in Ogat Man Loya, na I'm big plabus, na me play Stabosem. Na me play first line blow, come sit down on this ground where Papa Ground giving me play sit down, and me play stab. Na all paga inline too, and all can be, na all stab one me plana. All you know, narpla line up on Dara was Malamos, me play one pla line, na me play talk to good, na me play stab one time. You know, argue lo me play it, na making big black cross or this la no got. Or some big black something and come up with this area. Me play stab good, talk to one time na stab good.
The human rights issues involved are more on the basic services, and they are already there now, to a better degree than on many, many customary areas. We've been working on trying to put together a recommended package for the social rights, developing people, things that people are not getting, that they should be getting from government services. Gini Goada means stand up strong, and the aim of the Gini Goada program is to reach the unreached. In terms of giving learning opportunities to the people who are not in the formal systems of learning. For here at our relocation site, Gini Goada is extremely important for another purpose as well as the basic learning purpose. I'm finding that it's helping to bring together the two communities, the original people and the new people, because there was friction in the beginning, but now they're all coming together, and I think Gini Goada is helping to do that.
People really appreciate the program because we come to their level and we come and rub shoulders with them, and they talk to us. They feel free. It has a different feeling from the classroom experience.
Lidi kidu bring good community service come inside long. All people where we play service long and bring service come inside. Lo alpim all mama lo sawa cook. All by kisum good sawa na cook. All sawa sama bim all by sama bim close. Na kain something and bring good community service come inside. Na me talk 10 year lo. Lady Kiru want them all team blow you come inside. Sample Mary sawa all sawa ABC now me looking all Mary am clever more and then me I'm a master long. Now me looking all Mary blow me all no school now all no sawa ABC now me looking all sawa talk ABC na all sample sawa all write him name blow na me ham must me proud also all Mary blow me.
Okay, banti pla me play sawa read na write. Kanang Gini Goada school me come inside na now me play I clear read, I clear write na I clear read. Me talk thank you lo Gini Goada school.
It's helping to satisfy also the basic human rights of people here to have access to learning. Yes, it's not the formal system, I'd admit that, but it is access to learning, and it's the start of a learning road, we would hope. I'm hoping that eventually we'll have the linkages between these informal learning mechanisms and the formal systems also. And I'm sure that will come eventually. I've been working on that.
Me play to thank you, big man, and bringing this class school come na. Me play too, me play school. Now some grade 6, 5, 4, 3, and me play thing was another old problem, but now me play look on me play got old. Me play can school, na me play can stamp paper, na me play can go work money, but me play alone. Benefit all beginning and all, but me play. Now me play to thank you, big money.
Urbanisation policy says evictions per se will never work. Global experience has shown that. Here we have at last a company that is trying to do something more than just evict, and it's the first time, as far as I'm aware, that a company has done that.
They are making a genuine effort to bring people from Paga Hill to this other location, which is a big step forward.
This type of thing of a commercial development helping to cross-subsidise the relocation exercise is a new one.
Paga Hill Development is doing it as a developer alone.
The only way to really sort it out would be to work on cross-subsidising, where a genuine commercial developer wants to develop it more in a city area, and then they help to cross-subsidise the relocation exercise. But the big missing link is that it's not being done in partnership yet, so we're still hoping for that. You know.
But the relocation should be done in partnership with the developer and with government as well, the local authority and the government as well, because it's in everybody's interest to do it well.
And Paga Development Company's vision is to create a site at 6 Mile that settlers will one day appreciate.
We need financial contribution, service provision contribution from the government to help on this, and also to fill the policy gaps. I'm hoping that we can actually, as a result of this, inspire some of the bureaucrats to work on the policy issues involved.
So our hope is also that this document, these best practice guidelines, will be also used as a planning tool by government organisations, non-government organisations, and also mining companies and any project developers, that they'll be able to take their staff through the best practice principles so that resettlement can be done more effectively, and the rights of settlers can be heard.
Okay, today, me like I welcome you together, all right? And I think this is an historic event.
Today we formally assign all of our rights to this 14 hectares of land which we bought in, probably over 2 years ago, to the individual families that have moved from Paga Hill and will now enjoy a block of land that they can call their own. And what has been achieved here at Tago community is a proof that harmonious resettlement can be achieved in Papua New Guinea. And we urge the national government to develop a national resettlement policy to guide all the resettlement projects in this country.
Everyone here today have witnessed a significant occasion that will change the life and the future of the very people who will be residing here. As your member for Moresby Northeast, where this part of our city borders in my electorate, I am proud to be here today to officially witness this historical occasion.
On behalf of all of the United Nations system in Papua New Guinea, we are thrilled to be here today to witness this historic occasion. It's something very new in Papua New Guinea, the first time a national corporation like this, Paga Hill Development Corporation, supports the resettlement of communities. It is the first time it has happened in Papua New Guinea, in my experience. But it is also the first time, I think, it has happened in our region.
This is a historical day because what has happened today is the first of its kind ever in Papua New Guinea. And as a law enforcement officer and commander of NCD Central, I've never seen this happen throughout the country.
It's been a long journey. A long journey, a hard journey. And It is a time to celebrate. You have come a long way with a company that has shown that it cares. All of you, please keep moving forward, working together to show a new way forward for Papua New Guinea.
I view that today is a day that marks a celebration of start of a journey that the settlers from Paga Hill and the Paga Hill team build that new trust to create a life forward for the Paga Hill settlers. To mark official handover of the land blocks, I will now present to the representative of the CDC a copy of the land block allocation agreement. Thank you. Now I will present the agreement to your representative.
Let us sing of our joys to be free, praising God and rejoicing to be Papua New Guinea. Shout the name from the mountains to seas, Papua New Guinea. Raise our voices and proclaim Papua New Guinea.
We are just embarking on this journey. There's still a long way to go. And our ultimate vision is to see the children who have now moved with their parents to 6 Mile, finish their school, raise their families at 6 Mile, in a community where they feel safe and happy. And we certainly hope that we are paving the way for all the developers to adopt our approach and try to achieve a good outcome for all.
The issue of settlers has been a problem that has never had an effective solution in PNG. But there is hope that other than being just voting numbers for candidates during election time, this group of people can be recognized as potential contributors to the growth of our country rather than being a growing law enforcement challenge. Until we do this again next week, I'm Neville Choi. Good night.